What's going on, everyone? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Today, I just want to talk about the Liver King being exposed. This is a big deal to me and maybe some of you that are watching, because I'm someone who has been following the fitness industry probably since around 2014. Me and my boys, we made up this thing called Year of the Swole, and we're gonna get like really jacked and stuff. And I was getting close. And then, as a lot of you know, I got diagnosed with mitral valve prolapse in 2016, which absolutely just hindered my progress. And it took a while to really get it under control, but now it's almost virtually gone. Since then, I've dealt with a lot of other issues. I have a herniated disc. I have a torn ligament in my wrist. I've had a hip problem since I was 16 playing football. I have a lot of issues. In 2019, I started getting heavily back into the stuff, and then I screwed up my Achilles. I'm not even sure exactly what happened. I remember I was doing some rows, and the pressure, I don't know. I don't know. A myriad of problems, but it's something that I've always been very passionate about, and I've been wrestling with and yo-yoing and all that stuff. So whenever I see, like, fitness influencers or whatever you want to call them, and they're like huge and they claim natural, I obviously have a very big problem, because that it's just ruining everything. It ruins, like, say, how normal people can understand the limitations of the human body and so much more. And the Liver King was that to a T. He was someone who's just jacked out of his mind. If you are even slightly aware of how fitness works and how the body works, you would know that, oh yeah, this guy's obviously on stuff. Everybody was like, oh, this guy's obviously taking steroids. And then he would come on their podcast and say, nope, never touch this stuff. That was his one line that he would always say, never touch this stuff. And to me, the way how he always says stuff and how he acts like ignorant that he doesn't know about any of this stuff was the biggest telltale to me that of course he knows about this stuff. Because even people, because there's a lot of natural lifters that are pretty big. They could be bigger, but they're like satisfied with where they're at. And they know what it takes, and they know about the drugs. They know about them. Maybe they don't know exactly how to get them, but it could be an easy phone call. They know friends, they know people. It's like one of my closest friends, his brother, he got involved, he knows some people, and now he's on testosterone. It's not that hard. So when you're just claiming ignorance and when you're at that top peak, like just, physique and stuff, it just sounds so silly. It sounds so stupid. It sounds like some, exactly what it is, just smoke and mirror charlatan stuff. And so that's how he was behaving. And that's like the biggest problem, because there's people saying, well, what's the issue? Like, I don't have any issue with people taking them. I'm like, that's not the issue. The issue is that he's lying about it. He's selling supplements. And then people are thinking that his 9 ancestral tenets, his primal whatever, is gonna just quadruple pretty much your testosterone. He always says you can double it or something like that. Now, the one thing about Liver King, that there's a little bit of truth in everything he was saying. Following stuff that he preaches about will help you in certain ways. Better sleep, eating certain nutritious things like organ meats and all this stuff. Things that I don't really mess with, but I supplement a lot of stuff because to be honest, I eat like a child. There's a lot of stuff that I don't eat. I'm kind of picky, but I supplement to make sure I get the exact nutrients I need. And I'm still discovering, I know I'm in my 30s and I'm still discovering certain things that should be taken, because I feel like I wasn't taking, my thyroid was kind of very unhealthy, and I started taking this thyroid supplement, and it really seemed to exponentially help balance my hormones and a lot of issues that I was having, it seemed hilarious to me, like how I was like, wow, that's crazy. But for example, there's a lot of people that are missing things from their diet and they don't really notice. And so, getting good nutrients and spending time outside and all these things that he preaches, that's all well and good. And you can't take any credit away from him. He works his ass off. You're not going to take all the stuff that he takes, which consists of, like, obviously testosterone. He takes certain peptides, human growth hormones, like all these things to just get huge as possible, but you also still need to work your ass off. I've said in a few videos that My I don't know why my hormones, my testosterone just crashed in 2020. I have speculations and stuff that I feel like had to do with a couple of different things, but to remedy the situation, I got on TRT, and it was just building me back up slowly, and so I've been on it for a little bit over a year, and I hadn't taken full advantage of it. Like, even when I talked to the doctor that first prescribed it to me at this private clinic, was like, I want you to go hard in the paint, but I wasn't ready mentally, physically. I'm pretty much there now, where I've been working out a lot more, not as consistent as I want to, but my whole point is that I can feel how much it does help me, especially being compared to when I was killing it back in my 20s versus now, you know. But like, my whole point is that you see that I'm still out of shape. There's still a lot of fat on my face and everything, saying that if you don't put in the work, put in the hours, you're not going to just end up, being like a balloon. So if people think that it's the end all be all solution, just taking certain types of performance enhancing drugs, you're wrong. You still got to put in so much work. Like, people would ask me, like, they would see my thighs, or they would see like my biceps or whatever. They'd be like, bro, like, what did you do to get those results? And I'm like, well, mainly cycling, not with steroids, bicycling. I would ride about 18 miles a day. In 2012 to 2013, that would be my round trip to work and back. I would just ride my bike up hills and all this stuff. Single gear. And then I started, doing more squats, and I started doing more leg press, blah, blah, blah. Lots of stuff like that. And then for my biceps, purely just repetitions, thousands and thousands of them. It takes work to get even a decent result. Like, this is not like amazing, right? But it's just like, you can see like a mound and stuff, and it takes so long and so much work. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. So I don't want to take anything away from Liver King, because I understand that he kills it. However, the getting rich thing, by leaving out that one thing, it has a lot of normies thinking that it's possible that they could maybe one day get jacked that way if they worked out as long as Liver King. Someone who's young could be like, okay, Liver King's been working out for 25 years. If I work out for that long, maybe I can get as big as him. And then they're going to spend wasting so much time never getting there, because they don't have the steroids and the other, stacks that he has. He spends thousands of dollars a month to look like that, right? Spending a lot more than a lot of professional bodybuilders do, people that even compete. And I mean, he looks fantastic, but there's other results that he needed. And this is how he got exposed, because he was emailing people because he needed help. Even like, say, the Derek More Place More Dates is the one who officially exposed him. And it's so funny in the video, because if you watch the video, Derek used to run a clinic. I don't know if he does anymore. An HRT clinic. And Liver King messaged Derek before he blew up on social media. He had an unread email from the Liver King himself asking about stuff, and he was taking stuff already. So if Derek would have caught this email from the beginning, this wouldn't have even been debated at all. He would have been, well, look at this already. This guy, like, he's obviously... But the thing is, we all knew, for the most part, other than the normies, right? Because the normies are very gullible. People on average are very dumb and stupid, unfortunately. Very susceptible to, snake oil salesmen. That's why they exist in droves. They wouldn't exist if it didn't work. People do this all the time, man, and it sucks. There's so many people that lie about it that absolutely don't need to. Liver King can make an argument that he needs to lie to sell these supplements. He needs to lie. I argue that if he included that he was on roids and still did his whole ancestral thing, it wouldn't make as many sales, but I still think he would be on top of his game. I do. There's this whole natty thing of being natural that a lot of people try to claim, and I don't think it shouldn't have to help them. If the public was educated, it wouldn't be such a big deal. And there's so many people that are just contributing to this. People that I respect, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who says he hasn't taken steroids since he was like 18, which is absolutely hilarious. I remember watching John Cena do Howard Stern like years and years ago. And he's like, yeah, I've never taken steroids. And like one of the guys one of the Baba Booey guys or whatever is like, really, dude? Like, really? And that's how the conversation always goes. People are always like, really? And then they'll just say, nope, nope. And then at the end of the day, I mean, what are you going to do? Just badger them until they leave? So you kind of just, quote unquote, take their word for it, right? You still know they're BSing, but you just move on from the subject. Because people on average, maybe they don't know, because like, I had a me and my mom had a back and forth one time about Hugh Jackman, right? And about how obviously that dude was juiced to play Wolverine in the later years. And she was like, no, he's natural. And I'm like, oh man. So kind of letting you know that, yeah, there are people out there that don't know about all this stuff. They don't know about Zac Efron and when he was in Baywatch and what he's doing now to play a professional wrestler. Like, yes, they need lots of drugs to maintain these physiques and to get to this certain aspect, right? There's levels to this, right? That's really what it's all about. You can only get so big until you plateau, or you can only like manage it for so long, and then it's like you start slowing down, you start getting older, your testosterone starts decreasing naturally, like all this stuff starts happening. So then you take stuff to skirt past that. And that's what a lot of people absolutely need to know in the mainstream, and the normies need to know this stuff. And I wish they did know this stuff, man. I wish people would be honest about this. So it feels good that Liver King got exposed, but the problem is, it's not like it's going to stop him from lying. I'm sure he's going to say that these emails are fake and whatnot, and to his dedicated audience, they'll believe him. The fitness industry, they just felt this was cathartic. They already knew he was juiced to the gills. They knew this. Joe Rogan, all them, like, just saying, yeah, he has he has an ass full of steroids, which is like, obviously, that's super obvious. And so all it's just going to do is just feel good that, like, oh yeah, good confirmation, because it's not like there was any shock from anybody. I have seen zero people shocked looking up on the internet, looking up online. No one's shocked. No one's surprised. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, of course. But it's just nice to see detailed, thorough emails. No mistaking that it's him. Like, he can lie as much as he wants, and then like his brainwashed, fans will believe him because they're not going to even check. Because this happens all the time. Charlatans, grifters, they do so well because their fans will not fact check any of their stuff. They're going to keep supporting them no matter what. This is why, like, I keep talking about, like, say, the grifting that's going on in politics. You had a lot of people that were, say, center left, for example, or just full-blown left, and then they saw the money being made on the right, so they slowly inched their way onto the right. There's a lot of people like that, people that call themselves, classical liberal, or they're whatever, traditionally liberal, or whatever. They have these things, and now all of their talking points are just conservative talking points, and then the vast majority of their fans are conservatives. And I say to that, I'm like, well, these people are charlatans, and the people that are following them, I feel bad for them. Because, like, okay, you want to be conservative and everything, fair enough, man. I'm not going to tell you what to do or what you should believe in stuff. We can have discussions, but I'm not going to try to force you to be like, you shouldn't think this way or believe this, right? That's not my place. That's not what freedom is. But I wish you would, at the very least, know that you're listening to people who don't believe in this stuff and they just want your money. There's a lot of these people that's happening. Like, it's not happening so much on the left right now because you're not going to make a ton of money unless you're like, say, legacy YouTuber, progressive, whatnot. You're like your Hassan Pikers, your Voshes or something like that. But if you're trying to start, the money's not really there. There isn't this cult movement. Now, some people say there is, but that's not where the money is. If I wanted to make the maximum amount of money, I would 100% just be like I saw Chris Reagan tagged me in something saying that there was this guy, his family paid this guy $300 a day to deprogram his family from woke, like, college education or whatever. Like, that's what? Like, that's what I'm talking about, though. That's where the money's at. That's where the grift's at. And so it's reminiscent of the fitness industry, where the people that want to maximize their money, they go to this charlatan fake natty thing, and then they appeal to these people that are so gullible and they fall for it. And it's like, damn, it sucks because it's just poisoning the well. You know, there's a lot of great fitness YouTubers that have risen to the top just being open and honest. Derek More Place More Dates is one of the best YouTubers out there in the fitness industry because he's so knowledgeable. And he's just so, like, just telling it like it is. And he's saying, like, oh, this person's taking this person's taking that. And they're all, you know, because, you know, like, last thing I'm just going to say is that I understand why, say, professional athletes lie, because they're obviously cheating. They shouldn't be taking them. They're the only people who shouldn't be taking them, unless literally everybody should legally and sanctionally be taking them. Because, like, you think of something like MMA, where there is sanctioned cheating, like Joe Rogan coined it as, when you're cutting the weight in the weight classes. You're a welterweight at 170 pounds, but you actually normally walk around somewhere around like 190 pounds or so. So they cut all this weight, and then they, you know, water weight and all this stuff, and then they balloon back up like a day later, and they're fighting way heavier. I'm like, that's cheating. You don't actually weigh 170 pounds. But it's sanctioned. They watch it, they let them do it, they let them cut all the weight, so it's like, well, maybe you want to sanction performance-enhancing drugs and watch them and all this stuff. You know, people maybe try to find a way to cheat to even get more, but still, at the end of the day, the weight cutting's cheating, so maybe let them cheat openly too. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'd say other than that, though, people that are just working out, building stuff in movies like The Rock and stuff, they should have no reason to lie, and they just keep doing it, and it sucks. It sucks, man. It's one of those things where it's like, I really admire and respect people like The Rock, but there's that one part that always makes me feel like, come on, man. Like, you're supposed to be this, like, shining beacon of, like, just, like a paragon, but then there's this huge part of your life that's a lie that most people wouldn't care if you finally came out and said, yeah, I've been taking steroids the whole time. They'd be like, yeah, we know. It's, thank you for finally admitting it, though. But anyway, that's all I got to say about all that stuff. What do you guys think about this whole situation? The fitness industry, it fascinates me. I've been saying for years that I wanted to become a fitness YouTuber, make dedicated content to it, but it takes a lot, and it's something that maybe next year I could set myself up into doing something like that, but not yet. It's just, as of right now, it's still just a dream. But that's it, guys. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you very soon.